Good evening. I am Zhang Rong. You can call me Stephanie. Today, I would like to interview you about classroom discipline and student management. Please introduce yourself briefly. Zhang Rui first.
Hello, Stephanie. My name is Zhang Rui. I come from China, and now I'm a PhD student in UPSI, and I major in pedagogy. This is my second year in UPSI. Thank you.
Okay, how about Wu Fan?
Yes, my name is Wu Fan, and I'm a PhD student. And currently, I'm studying at UPSI and majoring in business management. At the same time, I'm also an English teacher, focusing on some English literature and English lessons in China.
Okay, thank you all. Now I will ask each of you a question. Zhang Rui first. You're working in the educational department, and you are also a PhD student, and your research direction is pedagogy. In your opinion, which method should be used to manage students' discipline issues more effectively, and students can accept it more?
Okay. As you know, I'm a staff working at the education department, so I'm not a real teacher actually. But I have a lot of chance to go to school, and I can listen some lectures and learn from teachers how to manage students. For these questions, I have some opinions as follows. First of all, I think as a teacher, you must have a very valid class, and the content will be very rich, so you can attract more students. And as a teacher, you must have a wide range of knowledge, so you can answer the questions of every student. And secondly, you must be very kindness and full of patience. You can understand students and regard every student equally. Do not favor anyone or do not ignore anyone. And at last, as a teacher, you must act yourself as a model, so that what you want to do, you must do first, so that your students can follow you. In terms of my view, understand your students' idea and have a good relationship with your students. Your students will love your class, of course. And you must take time to understand your students' interest and every student's characteristics. Use different methods to conduct education and management, so you will be a good teacher in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for your answer. So Wu Fan, as I know, in addition to being a PhD student at UPSI, you are also a teacher of an inter-educational institution in China. What do you think about the problem of students' classroom discipline and what should the teacher do with the students who have problems?
Yes, according to my own experience, I think there may exist some potential problems according towards this problem. I think maybe today I'm going to talk about three issues. First of all, I think that may belong to the differentiation of each individual, because each student in the class may have different interests, personality, and taste. Due to their different ability towards this subject, maybe their learning process could be different from each other. So as a teacher, they have not only to balance the study time, the learning process, but also should give guideline to each student about their own personal characteristic. So this is a very significant factor in this issue. And secondly, I think there may some depreciation may occur during the learning process. Some students may have some psychological problem between their parents, their intimate friends, or their own self. They may feel depressed or under too much pressure. So this may be a reflection during the study process, and the teacher should balance this contradiction of the problem. And next, the third one, I think this may belong to that they have some difficulty in self-study, because during the class sometimes they may feel under the pressure, so they are reluctant to raise some questions directly during the class. So these questions may accumulate, and this lead to a more big consequence. So I think in order to deal with these problems, I would give some suggestions. First of all, that is to, as a teacher, you should talk to your students during the class as well as after the class, because just as I mentioned before, they won't raise some questions because they would feel ashamed or laughed by others. So you should negotiate with them after the class and find the exact questions. And I think the second one, you should remind them, because self-encouragement is very important in their study process. So they should encourage themselves, you should encourage them, and they could find confidence. This could get better grades in the future. And third one, I think that is self-responsibility. Just as a mentor, that means you should give them some suggestions first, and then they should you should be responsible for them. And from your guideline, maybe or some directions, they could gain some satisfaction, and they should do the self-reflection. Okay. And in the future, I think the learning process will be more smoothly and successfully.
Okay, thanks for your answer, and thanks for your cooperation and involvement. I could practice those methods in the future. Thank you.